boss, so he had to walk past the alligator, and I get to stand here. That's how this works. So, welcome guys, my name is Megan. With me today is Jason. We are two of the alligator keepers here at Busch Gardens. Today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about our alligators, just the ones that we have in here, give you some general alligator information, and then at the end I will take any questions that you guys might have. Sound good? Fantastic. So in here with me today, we do have 10 American alligators. All 10 are males. 9 out of our 10 actually came from another facility here in Florida. They've been here for about the last 10, 12 years now, and most of them are in their mid to late 20s. We know sort of how old they are just because of where they came from. They had a pretty decent record keeping on them. Our 10th guy, though, is actually our alligator here at Busch Gardens. He's been here since about 1983. He came in back in the 80s. He was actually relocated by Florida Fish and Wildlife. He was deemed a nuisance alligator, so he had some naughty behaviors, had to be relocated. And so he's been here at Busch Gardens ever since. Now, he did come in as an adult, so he was pretty close to a full-grown size when he came in and when he was relocated. Because of that, we can estimate that he's probably somewhere in his 50s or 60s. They don't exactly come with a birth certificate when they show up, so it's pretty much a guess at this point, again, just based on size, things like that, and then again, how long he's been here. At this point, we think he's still probably our longest alligator. He's probably somewhere around 12 feet in length. But because all of our gators in here are very mature, adult, very large alligators, most of our guys are catching up to him pretty quickly. So most of our alligators in here are somewhere between 10 and a half and about 12 feet long, and probably somewhere between about 500 and 700 pounds. So some pretty big boys in here. Hi, Earl. You want to show everybody how handsome you are? Here. Earl. He's like, I don't know, you don't have food. I know, I tricked you, I'm sorry. All right, so all of our alligators in here are named. They do have names. They all have their own little personalities and ways for us to tell them apart. We do a lot of, I can't turn this way. We do a lot of training with our alligators here, just behavioral training. So on the days that we do feed, these guys are conditioned to go into the water for feeding. But as you can see, when we come in here, we work around the alligators. We don't make the alligators move for us or anything like that. This is their home. This is their habitat. This is their space, I respect it. So when we come in here, we walk around them, we give them a nice wide berth, things like that. But again, these guys are free to go wherever they want, do whatever they want, as long as we're in here. And so that's kind of why we work around these guys safely. It's also why we have these nice sticks. Basically, we can use these as we need to pass by an alligator. We can kind of put this between us and them. And it's basically just our version of like a movable or a portable fence. So if anything happens, we always have this stick between us and an alligator. And it just gives us that extra couple seconds to kind of move out of their way. Again, I'm not moving 700 pounds of alligator. It's just not happening. I know I look that strong, but I'm not, I promise. So we just kind of give them their space, let them do whatever they want. But there's always two of us in here that we're always watching each other's backs. So while I'm watching this gator, Jason's watching all of the ones behind me, making sure that they're not coming up looking for a snack or anything like that. But again, we do a lot of training with these guys, work around them very carefully. So they're used to how we're working around them. They're used to us being in here around them. And again, that's why when we walk in here, they're just kind of like, hey, what's up? And they go back to sleep. Now what these guys are doing right now, these guys are basically sunbathing. Alligators are what we call ectothermic, which is basically just a really fancy term for being cold-blooded. Cold-blooded's a little outdated. It's also a little misleading. Their blood's not literally cold. What that means is these guys rely on the outside environment to regulate their body temperature. So what these guys are doing right now is trying to warm that body up, bring up that core body temperature, which is super important for alligators. It's how they regulate their body temperature, it's how they get their energy, it's how they digest food. So being out here in the sun is super, super important for them. You stretch that leg.
Yeah, he did.
Get it?
Yeah, all right. Look at
Are
you.
you gonna walk for us?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
just
look
kidding.
like.
So if you guys can see all those bumps and ridges along their back, each one of those is an individual bony plate. They're round, they've got those little ridges on them. And what those do is those basically act like solar panels. So as he's out here, that entire back is just pulling in all that heat, and it's gonna, again, turn that heat into energy that he can use to, again, regulate that core body temperature, digest food, anything that he needs to do. So each one of those plates is basically warming up. As blood passes through those plates, it's warming that blood, circulating through his body, and helping him to maintain that constant body temperature. As he gets too hot, he's going to cool himself off, so he's going to join Earl and the rest of the alligators hanging out in the water. And it's kind of a back and forth. They'll come up on land, get nice and warm. Once they get a little too hot, they'll either move into the shade, move into the water. Sometimes you'll see them do, I don't think anybody's doing it right now, that classic alligator pose where they sit with their mouth open. What they're doing is they're basically using that mouth to expel heat. Sometimes you'll see them do like a really big yawn, and they're just pushing all that extra heat out of their body, helping to kind of bring their body temperature down a little bit. Sometimes when they're sitting with their mouth open like that, the breathes across their tongue helps to cool them down, just bring that body temperature down. So lots of different ways that these guys will regulate their body temperature because it's super important that they do so. Now, because these guys get a lot of their energy and things like that from the environment, from the warm temperatures, that means these guys don't have to eat a whole lot. And this is the part where you guys are gonna go, oh man, because today's not a feeding day. Sorry, thank you. Sorry, I know. Because these guys get so much of their energy and things like that from the environment, they only eat about twice